81 years ago, exactly on this day, that is on 14th August 1942, Usha Mehta had started the Congress radio 1 week into the Quit India movement. She started the Congress radio to support the Quit India movement. It was a platform to inform people about what is going on in the movement. It was a platform to inform people about how to participate in the movement. 81 years down the line, we have a prime minister who is interested to do only Man Ki Baat and pays no heed to Jann Ki Baat. We are at a point where the average age of a parliamentarian is somewhere between 54 to 57 years, and the average age of an Indian is somewhere between 27 to 29 years. We are at a stage where many parliamentarians are facing charges for heinous crimes. We are at a stage where the idea of a secular socialist democratic republic of India is under attack, and there is an attempt through government machinery to present an idea of India that is based on hegemony of a majoritarian religion. That is why today we launched the Congress Radio 2.0 to provide a platform to working professionals, entrepreneurs, artists, and the youth to share their ideas, aspirations, concerns, and vision for India, and to preserve the idea of a secular, socialist, democratic Republic of India. We have a very special guest with us today. But before I introduce him, let's have that intro. So, welcome to the Congress Radio 2.0. Today with me is Deepanshu Bhat, who is a student at Tata Institute of Social Sciences. He is a development professional and a spokesperson for the Youth Congress. And today with Deepanshu, we are going to discuss about certain very pertinent issues which are ongoing in the political space today. Uh, right now, the country has just witnessed a no confidence motion that the Prime Minister was facing in the Parliament. Various interesting things happened in the Parliament, and today we will be talking about all those things, starting with India Alliance's narrative for India and the BJP's templated counterattack. Further, we'll also discuss issues of the Indian youth as to why the Indian youth prefers to stay apolitical. What are the key issues of the youth? What what vision does India? What vision does the youth see for India? And lastly, we'll talk about Youth Congress as a platform to for the youth to contribute to politics. So, welcome, Deepanshu. Good to have you on the show. Uh, you are on mute. Can you switch on your mic?
So thank you, Murnal. It's a complete honor to be in this attempt to revive the Congress Radio, and I'm really happy to be the first guest of this podcast. And I hope to see a good conversation which could like enlighten our viewers.
Definitely. Enlightenment should come from you as a
Yes,
representative of the youth, as a
yes.
spokesperson of the Youth Congress. Uh, so, uh, the no confidence motion got over on the 10th of August. Uh, the opposition alliance raised a no confidence motion against the Prime Minister of India to mainly have him speak on the Manipur issue. But what we saw in the no confidence motion was the templated counterattack by BJP, wherein they always have a very structured approach to their arguments, which starts with bashing Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, talking about the previous years of the Congress government, and then so on and so forth. But it has been a stage for the opposition as well as the government to set the narrative in the run up to 2024 elections. So, what do you take away from the monsoon session of the parliament?
See, Murnal, if we speak about the no confidence motion, we have to get one thing very straight here. It was never about the numbers. It was never about the numericals, which side has the most number of MPs. But this no confidence motion was much more than numerical figures. It was more about Manipur. It was more about the aspirations of the common Indian, the disadvantaged, the marginalized, the youth, and the women. And we, as the Indian Alliance, is very satisfied, you can say, because we bought the conversation in the right perspective, in the right way, in the right domain. Okay, if there was no confidence motion, the prime minister, the NDA, they were speaking about something which was completely irrelevant, but it was because of the efforts of the combined opposition, the India alliance, that the right narrative was set, that the right thoughts were discussed, and the most important and concerning issue about Manipur was brought onto the table, and there were discussions here. But unfortunately, also we have to acknowledge this very fact that the response from the government was completely insensitive. It was completely about whataboutery. We are absolutely not satisfied with what the prime minister said, with what the home minister said, or with what Miss Smriti Irani or the other ministers or parliamentarians said. It was complete unjust. Whatever they said, whatever template they put forward in front of us, it was completely nonsensical, I would say. We wanted to discuss about Manipur. It is a part of India and it is being divided. There has been riots, there has been murderers, there has been rapes. But what is the Home Ministry doing? What is the National Security Advisor doing? Are these people not accountable? I mean, where have we reached now? But honestly, at the same time, we are very satisfied with the performance of India, because the only reason of bringing a no confidence motion was to speak about Manipur, was to speak about women, the youngsters, the Indians who are facing a challenge right now. And we are in the middle of a deep crisis that we have to understand. And by no confidence motion, we try to get these conversations in the parliament.
Exactly. So the violence in Manipur started in May, and the country only got aware about it when those horrific videos of two women being paraded naked got viral. And opposition raised this issue. They were quite adamant in the monsoon session to have a discussion on the Manipur issue. Uh, but there were some confusions or misconceptions that there were allegations from both the sides that on one side the opposition was alleging that the government is not ready to speak on the Manipur issue, to discuss the Manipur issue, and on the other side we had the government who was blaming the opposition for uh, not maintaining peace in the house, not allowing the house to function properly, and they were also alleging that the opposition doesn't want to discuss the Manipur issue. So while there were two uh, pictures to it, the opposition was demanding for all business of the house to be brought to a halt and solely discuss the Manipur issue under the Rule 267 of the uh, parliamentary handbook. But the government wanted the discussion, which could have been a short-term discussion, say for 2 or 3 hours under the Rule 176. So there was a misconception over there. There was some confusion over there. Both sides raising fingers at each other and alleging that they are not ready to discuss on the Manipur issue. But
Completely. Yeah, yeah, please.
when the no confidence motion was brought in by Gaurav Gogoi, he raised three important questions as to what did the Home Ministry and the government, was it aware or not aware? If they were aware, then why didn't they act on it? What actions they have taken? There were some serious questions which had to be discussed in the parliament, which were raised by Gaurav Gogoi. But we see none of the speakers from the government, be it Rajyavardhan Singh Rathod, be it Smriti Irani, be it Home Minister himself, be it Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister himself. No one came an inch closer to those three questions.
See,
So,
Murnal, we have to get this thing very straight. So, whatever the government of India in the parliament is speaking about, the ministers and the MPs, it is not at all convincing. Okay, they are saying that the opposition, the India Alliance, is not helping with the proceedings of the parliament. Yes, we are not, because we do not want to discuss about unnecessary stuff. We do not want to discuss about the slogans which Prime Minister Modi raised in his speech. We do not want to discuss about any other things. Whatever they are speaking about is without substance. They are not making any sense. Right now, our country is burning. We got to understand this. Right now, the Manipur issue should be at the forefront. We have to discuss it. And like Martin Luther King has himself said, that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. What you're trying to, like, what is the government's opinion? Are we not seeing riots in Haryana? Are we not seeing riots in Gurgaon? And what is the plan of action for the government? Are we, should we, as the Indian Alliance or as the parliamentarians, only discuss about these things and not discuss about the concerning issues like in Manipur? And if you just structurally understand the Prime Minister's speech or Smriti Irani's speech or Nirmala Sitaraman's speech, you will find one thing very common. There's a common thread. And that thread is about whataboutery. That thread
hmm,
is about only bashing the Congress and India alliance. That thread is about going back in the time and speaking something which does not make any sense. I mean, for God's sake, right now we are in the middle of a crisis. We want a plan of action, and rightly said by Mr. Gaurav Gogoi when he opened the no confidence motion. Three questions, very important. Was the government of India aware that this situation can come to us? And what are the plans and the actions of the Home Ministry and the National Security Advisor? And number three, why did the Prime Minister yet not go to the Manipur, and why there is no clear-cut message from the Prime Minister? It took him 80 days. Munal, can you just believe it? It took him 80 days to speak about Manipur, and that he spoke only for 30 seconds after those two horrific videos surfaced on the internet. And their own chief minister is saying, he is claiming that there are hundreds such cases which go unreported, which do not get in the public eye. What else do we need now? There are ample of evidences that there is complete policy paralysis. There is complete a visionless, leaderless state of affairs going on in Manipur, and it looks like that the prime minister is
hmm.
not at all convinced in speaking about these issues. He does not care.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
BJP NDA does
exactly.
not care about it.
Exactly. So when the prime minister had to speak on the issue, when he got a chance to speak on the issue during the no confidence motion, the first 90 minutes were only about whataboutery. The first 90 minutes were only about bashing Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi. They were about questioning the previous years of the Congress government. But only after 90 minutes, when the opposition walks out, Prime Minister briefly speaks about Manipur, mentions Manipur for some time, but with no concrete steps. He speaks in a way which doesn't highlight the steps that government is going to take to ensure peace in Manipur, or what has the government done till now. Amit Shah in his speech said that Prime Minister had called him at a certain hour at night about Manipur. We don't want to know when Prime Minister called the Home Minister. We don't want to know the timings of that, but obviously we want to know what steps are being taken so that also the opposition can provide a constructive solution, constructive criticism to the steps that government is taking.
Yes, yes. So you spoke about that Narendra Modi in first 90 minutes he was doing whataboutery. He was praising himself or bashing Rahul Gandhi ji, Sonia Gandhi ji, Congress. I don't necessarily think that it was only for 90 minutes. He spoke for 2 hours, and these 2 hours were complete stand up. It was a stand up comedy. It was without substance. It was without any plan of action, without any aim. I mean, what is the prime minister doing? I mean, he heads the largest democracy in the world, and this time Manipur is burning. We are seeing riots. We are seeing within Manipur, two communities are on a loggerheads with each other. And just give you a fact, just important fact here. There was a mob in Manipur which stole arms, which stole guns, bullets. bumps from the police station, 5,000 missing items of these rifles and other stuff. And what
Hmm.
these writers will do about these guns and machines and everything. So what is the plan here? So right now we
Exactly.
are in a situation where the people who are at a rift with other community, both some from this community, some from other community, they have right now guns in their hands. They
Exactly.
have
And
all the ammunitions. And what is the prime minister doing about it? Is he only speaking about what the congress did? Let me quote some facts also here. You know about the situation of the northeast with Assam, Manipur, Mizoram, and you know how the congress handled it. You know how Rajiv Gandhi handled it. We have
hmm,
a minister in BJP's government, Rinjinju, who is the external state of minister in the external affairs.
Rijiju.
Yeah, Rijiju. So I just give
Hmm.
you a very factual thing about this. He comes from Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, when the Chinese delegation came to Arunachal Pradesh, they made a request that Kiran Rinjinju should not be at the from the delegation of the Indian state, and the prime minister asked him not to be in that delegation. And when the Congress party was there, we also had a minister from that community, from that region. And we told the Chinese delegation that when the same situation happened in our time also, when the delegation of China was coming, we told them that Arunachal Pradesh is our territory, the person from that territory is our minister, and he will
Hmm.
be part of the delegation. But what is the BJP doing here? They're actually alienating the Northeast. They're actually alienating the Manipur. They're not ready to speak about it. And this is very unfortunate for me.
Yeah. Solving the issue of Manipur requires a maturity to come above partisan politics.
Correct.
We act as parliamentarians. All parliamentarians should come together beyond their party lines, get away with their do away with their partisan politics, and solely focus on the issue of Manipur. But do you think the first 90 minutes of the prime minister's speech, wherein he kind of joked about Congress, wherein he was laughing, wherein he is also saying "Haslo, aap bhi haslo." Do you think that was insensitive on the part of Prime Minister? Do you think that the Prime Minister should have started his speech with the Manipur issue and showed his concerns for Manipur? Could he have been a little more sympathetic and empathetic towards this issue?
It's too much. It's too much to ask Prime Minister to be sensitive and empathetic. Just draw a comparison here. When Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, and you know, in Northeast at that time, or from the historic perspective, there has been some sort of a conflict. But the state of India, be it Manmohan Singh, and I also give some little bit credit to Atal Bihari Vajpayee, they handled the situations very carefully, very sensitively. If I speak about Dr. Manmohan Singh, he went to Manipur and Northeast, and he said to the people of the northeastern states that you are Indians as much as we are Indians. We are one family, we are one country, we have to be united. That was the sensitivity, that was the vision, and that was the aim of the former governments. And let's talk about Narendra Modi. He has been an insensitive person right from day one. You expect
Hmm.
sensitivity, maturity from a person who speaks about 50 crore की girlfriend, कांग्रेस की विधवा, शमशान बनन
Hmm.
कब्रिस्तान. You expect this person to have sense and some maturity, sensitivity about Manipur. This is too much to ask for. I'm really sorry to say he is a prime minister. All respect to the chair, but right now he has done something which will never be forgotten, never be forgiven by the Indians. And it's too much to ask for sensitivity here because the NDA government is completely insensitive. Just check Smriti Irani for that matter. He was she was disturbed, and she made a issue of this point that Shri Rahul Gandhi ji gave a flying kiss to the, like, as a sign of love, as a sign of harmony, as a sign of brotherhood, as a sign of inclusiveness to the speaker, and she made a ruckus of this in the parliament. And she remained quiet about the female athletes who were raped, sexually assaulted by their own MP. She did not speak
Ex-
anything about that. She did not speak anything about the Manipur when two girls were stripped naked and paraded and their private organs were touched by these men. Why did Smriti Irani not speak anything about this? Being a women and child minister of India, this is complete nonsense. It is complete nonsense,
she didn't
shameful for
even
the
speak
industry.
about the she didn't even speak about the Bilkis Bano case. Uh,
No,
yeah,
no,
and
she did not.
exactly that is what yeah, and exactly that is what I was coming to. Did you see the anger in Smriti Irani's speech, wherein where the country needs an inclusive approach? this anger, this aggression, I don't know what this anger is going to solve. So was there any need for such an anger in Smriti Irani's speech, is question A. Question B is, why digress into the topic of flying kiss and all those things when she was the forefront? She was a face during Nirbhaya, during the whole Nirbhaya issue, but she has remained silent on all the women's issues when the BJP government when the BJP government is in power, be it the restless protest, be it the Bilkis Bano case, be it the many other rapes, unfortunately, which are happening all across the country, she has been silent. But why show this aggression towards the Congress, towards the Gandhi family, and not show aggression towards the perpetrators of this violence?
Very simply put, Murnal, when a person is angry, okay, when the person is only angry when the person is trying to defend something, okay. If she had some senses, if she was very concerned about the situation, as the minister of women and child development, it is her primary responsibility, basic responsibility, to make sure that the women are safe, the children are developed, okay. That is the responsibility of the ministry she is holding. But right now she is being angry, okay. She is being doing what about me, she is being bashing the Congress, but she is completely mum about Bilkis Banu, about our athletes, and about the Manipur issue. We got to understand that for the BJP, for the NDA, it is all about politics. Okay, we have a lot of testimonials which could completely demonstrate the fact that it is all about getting power. It is all about enjoying the chair. It is all about enjoying those privileges, but it is not about the people. It is not about women. And I'm also very disheartened when I see that the same BJP takes pride in themselves, saying that we made 5 women ministers, we made 10 women ministers, and there's a photo of Photoshop, and then there's a caption that actual women empowerment is happening in NDA. I mean, what women empowerment are we talking about? Is this the women empowerment when women are getting raped, stripped naked, the rapists of the Bilkis Banu are released, garlanded, and these women are mum? They do not speak anything.
And
I
and
mean, this
and
is
have
so
you seen
unfortunate.
how arrogant Brij Bhushan has been? Have you seen that? It was
Correct,
like
correct.
touching women without sexual intent is not an offense, but who gets to
Yes,
decide what is sexual intent, what is not?
yes. So I just want to get this into details. This is not only about Vibhushan. Let's not get confused here. It is, I repeat, it is not only about Vibhushan, but it is the psyche, it is the philosophy, it is the language about the RSS. It is the language which is regressive, which dates back to the era when women were oppressed, and they continue to propagate the same language till now. It is not Brijbhushan, it is the Brijbhushan psyche, and the school which propagates the psyche is in Nagpur. That is, and this ideology is governing our country. That is the reason why Narendra Modi is mum about Manipur. That is the reason why Narendra Modi is mum about Bilkis Banu. That is the reason why he's not speaking against his own MP who's alleged of molestation. So we got to understand the base of it. The base is that the RSS ideology, this Hindutva ideology, this is something which is damaging the social, secular fabric of our nation. This is damaging to the women respect. This is damaging to our inclusiveness. We got to understand this.
Totally, totally. And while the prime minister is being mum on certain issues, he's quite vocal about he's quite vocal about having the third term, being the prime minister for the third term. He's quite vocal about that issue, while he may be mum on other things. Now, as the monsoon session of the parliament is over, winter session is to come, and now both the sides, even the India alliance and the NDA alliance, would be in a campaign mode in the run up to 2024 elections. So the some issues which are being raised by the opposition alliance, the India alliance, are communal violence, as we see, which is happening in Manipur, which is happening in Nu, Gurgaon, which is happening across the country in small, medium, and large scale. Uh, so, what do you feel are the other issues that the India alliance is going to take up? I feel some of the issues are going to be about economy, about the National Capital Territory Bill, as you can see on the screen, the farmers' protest, Pegasus spyware scandals. Opposition has to talk about a lot of issues which have occurred in the last 9 years. So let's come to that. Let's come to the issues that each of the sides will be taking up in the run up to 2024 elections.
Of course. So see, right after all the opposition party met and they gave the name of India to the alliance. So I must recommend all of our viewers to also read the uh, document which was released right after the formation of India alliance. The document is very comprehensive. The document speaks about each issue which is very concerning in India and the stand of India Alliance on it. First of all, we got to understand the India Alliance is the actual voice of Indians. This is a fact. If we talk about ordinary Indians, if we just understand what they speak about, what are their concerns, you will see that the document has enlisted all these concerns right from 2014. Let's
Hmm.
get this very straight. Starting from demonetization and GST, that
Hmm.
was the two things which dented our economy. So after 8 years, where are the success of demonetization or for example
Hmm.
GST? What have we achieved?
Hmm.
Are we able
Hmm.
to curb the
And
terrorism down? Where's the black
yeah,
money? Okay,
even the
where's the
2000 rupee notes have been withdrawn, are being withdrawn again.
correctly, yes, rightly said.
Hmm.
So we want what were the successful measures or what were the successful outcomes of demonetization and GST? We got 150
Hmm.
people killed. It was a murder.
Hmm.
I would hesitate it in calling a murder. It was a murder because
Hmm.
at one night you come in the television and then say that all these notes are banned. You got to return to the government. Banks, what is this? Stupidity, nonsensical. It needs
While
its own
Raghuram
institution.
Rajan, while
Yeah,
Raghuram Rajan was the governor at that time, he had uh, raised a concern with the prime minister that the demonetization is not going to help with what you are trying to achieve. But he had to
correct,
resign. The government brought in another RBI governor, and the demonetization was implemented.
correct,
So that was a severe strike to the economy. The implementation was GST was totally flawed,
correct,
wherein they didn't take a planned approach, they didn't take a systematic approach, and various experiments were done after the GST being implemented. But apart from GST and demonetization, today, as we see with the economy, unemployment is a pressing issue. People around you and me are not easily finding jobs. Inflation is an issue. Price rise is an issue. There is no data around the success of Startup India, Skill India, and all those schemes which the government had brought in. There is no data. There is no verifiable data in the open domains on those issues. So that is with the economy. And with the National Capital Territory Bill, also, the government is trying to delegitimize an elected government of the people and impose the rule of bureaucracy. So, how do you see the India alliance supporting Aam Aadmi Party to be vocal against the National Capital Territory Bill?
yes. I'll just speak some more points about the economy and the National Capital Territory Bill because both these issues, both these aspects are coming from one philosophy, one ideology. Let's come to the economic front first. We speak about demonetization, we spoke about the GST. Then we got to understand, if we trace back, the philosophy of crony capitalism, the philosophy of helping friends who are industrialists, and the philosophy of damaging the middle class and the lower income bracket people of this country started right after the implementation of slashing the corporate tax. Corporate
Hmm.
tax was slashed. We got to understand this. The government is basically, if we just understand basic economics here, why we are in middle of a situation where we have highest unemployment rate, highest inflation, no jobs, MSMEs are being shut, small businesses are being shut. Why? Because the government's only aim is to prioritize corporates in a way which is completely discriminatory. Okay, it
Hmm.
started from slashing the corporate rates, okay, corporate tax rates. Then it
Hmm.
started in helping these corporates to get some additional funding and additional government contracts, be it in the form of selling PSUs, selling the airports, selling the other bus stands, railway stations, and national monetization pipeline was also a part of it. Structurally, the government is trying to only support the supply side of the economy, but they're completely ignoring the demand side of the economy. See, we as the Congress party, we do not, we are not against growth. We are not against the
Hmm.
growth of industries. We believe that it is very important to have industries built so that it could help the economy. But we believe in a conversation between the industry and between the people, between the
Hmm.
corporates and between youngsters who are graduates, postgraduates, MBAs. But the problem with the NDA government is that there is no conversation. There is only one conversation between Narendra Modi, Adani, Narendra Modi, and some of the corporates. And that is what is happening in the country right now. Their only focus is on the supply side. Their only focus is to develop corporates, because right now, after 2014, what we are witnessing is there is a heavy investment going in election campaigns, and with the
Hmm.
introduction
Hmm.
of electoral bonds. What do you think? How the BJP is becoming the so wealthiest party in the world? In country, it is at number one. On the global footprint, it is in number three or number four, because all these corporates are funding them, and in
Hmm.
return, the policies are being framed to help only and only corporates. There has been no conversation between the Indians and the corporates. There has only been a dialogue between the Modi and Adani. They're dictating the terms. And let's talk about
Right.
Startup India. I challenge any BJP member or any BJP minister for a debate and tell me one unicorn startup which you guys have helped through Startup India to make that startup a unicorn startup, or one
Let's. I
industry you
would.
tell me. Yeah,
I
yeah.
would. I would. I would be safe from making such allegations because a lot of unicorns have been spurged up in the last couple of years, right? So
Correct.
while we
That is
understand.
no. I'll just complete this. A lot of unicorns have been made in India, but I'm specifically asking how many of them were able to achieve this mark of being a unicorn with the help of Startup India policy. That is my question. If you just
Hmm.
trace these startups, either they are funded by VCs, angel investors, they have foreign funding, they have done a tremendous job. Okay, they
Hmm.
have raised the reputation of a country, no doubt, and then we need them. But my question is, your objective of coming up with Startup India was to make India startup hub, make unicorns. But how many startups has Startup India facilitated to become a unicorn? That is my question.
Hmm.
Now I'll jump to the
Hmm.
National Capital Territory. You spoke about Aam Aadmi Party. We may have a lot of differences with them, but we are
Hmm.
against the National Capital Territory bill because it is against the fundamental structure of a constitution. It is against federalism. It is complete with the ideology of RSS, which speaks about centralization of power.
Hmm.
I mean, what are
Hmm.
we talking about? You're giving all the powers to the lieutenant government and the bureaucrats. And then why people are going to vote? Why they're electing the government?
Hmm.
It's not about Aam Aadmi Party. Tomorrow, Congress, if
Right.
Congress becomes the party in power, the BJP becomes the party in power. Or for example, any other fourth party becomes the party in power. But what are we talking about? This is not how it
Hmm.
should be. We got to empower our states. We do not want to disempower them, and this is what the bill is all about. And this
Right.
is not just about Delhi. Let's get this very clear. They have done this with Jammu and Kashmir also. They
Hmm.
snatched the statehood. They divided the state. They
Hmm.
downgraded into UT. Now it is with Delhi. Tomorrow it can be with Maharashtra. Then it can be with Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh. I mean, this is completely the philosophy of
Hmm.
the RSS is being completely penetrative in the Indian economy and polity. That is completely unjust. It is an attack on the constitutional values given by Baba Sahib Ambedkar. It is attack on the federalism. It is attack on people because their vote is become powerless now. That is the reason we
Hmm.
are against this national capital territory bill.
Right, right. Several strong points. You made several strong points, but one thing I'll pick up from the very start of your response to this was the differences with the Aam Aadmi Party, right? And yeah, various parties in the India alliances have differences with each other at the state level, and that has been the criticism of the NDA that ये parties तो आपस में ही states में लड़ रहे, तो ये राज्य की सरकार कैसे बनाएंगे साथ में आकर. So what do you feel about that thing? Because I feel that this is a very mature kind of politics, to leave state politics at state level and come together for nation building at a national level. I feel this is a very mature stand. And even the sympathizers of NDA need to realize this. How do you see these points, these criticisms raised by NDA?
Completely baseless, Mona, completely baseless. And it also depicts the true philosophy of NDA.
Hmm.
For India Alliance, ideological differences, party differences is secondary. The primary responsibility is nation building, is to protect the nation and protect the nation from this idea of India, which speaks about what the Prime Minister has just said, that they have differences within themselves. Yes, we have differences, but these differences are not against India, but these differences are to get new ideas to build a better India.
And we are
But what?
proud of those differences.
Yes,
We are
yes,
proud of, because we want to preserve the
correct.
diversity of India.
Correct, correct. That is the entire philosophy of the NDA. They believe in uniformity. Let's
Hmm.
speak about some facts. They have AIA-DMK in their alliance, the NDA alliance. What is the
Hmm.
philosophy of AIA-DMK? And
Hmm.
is it in complete agreement with the RSS philosophy? Is there no
Hmm.
sort of a loggerheads between the ideological doctrines of both the parties? There is, and the prime minister
Hmm.
is coming from an opinion. I'm from this episode which we are doing right now. It should go deep down into the society, and the viewers should listen. And any of the viewers, if they are from this party, who is a part of the NDA, should understand that BJP's whole agenda is to uniform their politics. They will eat out their alliances. That is what they are doing.
while
They
while
did
you
JDU.
while you
They, yeah.
while you speak about uniformity, BJP has also been speaking about the uniform civil code, but they have not mentioned about anything as to what all areas would be included in this bill. How will we ensure a uniform civil code? What will be the points covered in this uniform civil code? There has been no dialogue on that. But that is from one perspective, that a uniform civil code they are trying to introduce, which is debatable. But on the other side, even if you see with the religion aspect of it, they want a uniform picture of Hinduism. Right, because even Hinduism as a religion is quite diverse. You come from a Kashmiri Pandit family, even I come from a Banya family. So the way you practice Hinduism in Kashmir, the way I practice Hinduism in Gujarat and Maharashtra, the way people practice Hinduism in Tamil Nadu, the way people practice Hinduism even in Bali and Cambodia is quite different. Uh, but BJP is trying to establish their BJP and the RSS obviously is trying to establish their hegemony over Hinduism, and wants to is attempting that the religion should be practiced in a particular way, which is which resonates with their idea of Hinduism. So what do you feel about uniformity and diversity in the Hinduism religion itself?
See, Munna, let's be very honest here. The RSS and the BJP, be it Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, they do not understand anything about Hinduism. Let's get this very strict. They do not understand the culture, they do not understand the doctrines, they do not understand the values which Hinduism preaches. Hinduism is one of the world's most beautiful, tolerant, inclusive, accommodative religion. Okay. And what they believe is the Hindutva philosophy. Let's get on a challenge. I challenge any of these RSS people. Tell me in which chapter, on which page, in which line of the Bhagavad Gita there is mention of Hindutva,
Hmm.
or any Vedas, Puranas where there is mention of Hindutva. Let's try to get a difference here. Hinduism is a religion. It's a culture. It's a way of life. But Hindutva is a bigoted political philosophy which was propagated by Savarkar
So
for
so
political
it,
gains.
right. If I were to make a small point over here, I feel that Hinduism is where we greet people with Jai Siya Ram, Jai Shri Krishna, right? And Hindutva, where we have eliminated Sita from the picture, as Prime Minister himself have left his wife behind, and we have started raising slogans of Jai Shri Ram, which are not a greeting but more of a war cry. And even in the last couple of years, we see pictures of Ram, which is an angry Ram in orange color. We see pictures of Hanuman, which is an angry Hanuman in orange color, uh, which didn't used to be the case at least 10, 15 years earlier.
As I said, Hinduism is the most peaceful, tolerant, accommodative religion. It talks about life, it talks about love.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, Hindutva, what is Hindutva? I mean, where it is written? Is it in Bhagavad Gita? Is it in any Quran or any Upanishads? It is not.
Hmm.
It was just a psyche of a coward who came up with this terminology, who came up with this idea. And
Hmm.
you rightly mentioned about how they are depicting Prabhu Shri Ram or Hanumanji. Completely
Hmm.
unjust. It's completely insane. This is not what Hinduism is. This is what Hindutva is. And we're completely against Hindutva. This is not a Hindutva country. This country belongs to Hindus, Muslims, Sikh, Isais, all the religions, all the tribes, all the languages. This is what Hinduism
While
taught us.
Vajpayee believed in that philosophy of secularism, and he had been quite vocal about his belief in secularism. Advani, though he also took out the Rath Yatra, even he was quite a bit of secular as compared to the today's BJP. So,
No, I'm not.
do you
Yeah,
think the
please continue.
BJP itself has changed its philosophy right from the time of Atal Bihari Vajpayee to Narendra Modi?
No, not at all. I'm completely not of this opinion that Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee was a secular person, or I'm not of this opinion that L.K. Advani was a secular person. They behaved in this
Okay.
way. Mr. Vajpayee, now he is no more with us. He behaved in this way because
Hmm.
of the situations he was in. He did not have a
Hmm.
complete majority. Let's get the facts straight.
Hmm.
He was
Hmm.
dependent on partners.
Hmm.
If he would have
Hmm.
got a complete majority, he would have been as communal as bigot the way the current government is. With all the respect,
While
he has done some
let's
great
not
work
make
for the
allegations over there. Let's not make
no, no,
some
he has done.
allegations because.
Let's put some facts here. He has been a great asset to the country. He has given a lot of developmental initiatives. He has planned a lot of good things for the country, no doubt. But on the
Hmm.
basis of inclusivity, on the basis of religion, why
Hmm.
he was mum when Rath Yatra was being organized? Where was he?
Hmm.
If he was secular, that was the best opportunity for him to talk and preach about secularism. And LK Advani was
Hmm.
the orchestrator of what we are in right now. That Rath Yatra was is the fundamental reason why the things which were happening in the country right now are linked to that Rath Yatra. Let's not
Hmm.
confuse ourselves. And let's be brutally honest here. This is the fact. And let's not hide behind the fact. Let's talk about them.
Right, right. And actually, sorry for digressing into the past while we are, criticizing the
Yeah, just
ruling
one thing.
force to be in the past.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing you just spoke about the uniform civil code. I'll just take a minute of it. So we are very
Hmm.
clear about it. Very clear.
Hmm.
Show us the draft first.
Hmm.
Let's take it. Let's take this ahead democratically. Show us the draft first. We'll read the provision and then we'll comment. But what is this? You're not showing the draft. You're not doing anything about it. You're just going in
Hmm.
the media. You're just going on the election campaign and speaking about it without any substance and confusing
Hmm.
people, confusing the communities,
Hmm.
confusing the minorities what it is. I mean, you should come up with a draft. And let me
Hmm.
also get this point very straight as a youngster, as a youth. Right now, I'm not concerned about uniform civil code. I'm concerned about jobs. I'm concerned about
Hmm.
education. I'm concerned about scientific temperament. I'm concerned
Hmm.
about the threat to our social and secular fabric. I'm
Hmm.
concerned about the declining state of the economy. These are my concerns. I want the government to work on these issues, but their
Let's
priorities on uniformity. But let's have the draft. Let's read and then we can comment on this.
Right. Let's come to the issues of the youth as well, because we both fall in the same demographics, and I believe that the, even the youth is quite diverse in this country. Based in terms of socioeconomic background, like the background we come from. Many of the people in our circles are moving abroad in search of better education opportunities, in search of better job opportunities, in search of a better lifestyle. Uh, so, what can India do to keep this youth in India, uh, and make them believe that India is really going to change and there will be a brighter future in India? Uh, a is point A, and B is, do you think that the youth today need, is apolitical for the right reasons?
So speaking about the first point about the youth aspiring to go in foreign countries, be it for the purpose of job or getting higher education, not wanting to be in India to do job or to get some higher qualification. This has been there from a lot of time. Okay, so we have a historical track record of this, and unfortunately, we haven't categorically worked on this aspect. If you just categorize, there is no one reason of why people want to go in other country. There are multiple reasons. There's a lot of, you can say, many factors are involved. Okay, it starts
But
from
do
the
you
job
think, but
sector.
yeah,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but do you think that the current tension in the country based on communal lines, the current disturbance in the country is also one of the reasons that the youth is choosing to migrate?
Yes, I was coming on to the point
Hmm.
only. So historically speaking, there has been this trend, and there are many factors because of this. Why people are leaving, the youngsters are leaving. I fundamentally I believe it. It's my personal opinion. Many factors such as caste is one of the factors because of
Hmm.
caste discrimination, even at the higher places where we are not expecting this can happen, but this is happening right now. If you see the report in the IITs and IIMs, there are a lot of suicides, and you just
Hmm.
analyze them. A lot of suicides are being done by the people who belong from the lower caste. I mean, this is
Hmm.
something concerning. Why this is happening? And
Hmm.
when we see the statistics, a lot of people who belong to that particular caste might want not to study in IIT but want to go in abroad if they are able to do that. That is one factor.
Hmm.
Religious discrimination, other factor.
Hmm.
And are we able to provide an education which is of industry standards? Are we able to do this? That is the third question. This is historic. This has been happening. But
Hmm.
recently, what is the trend? We got to understand that after 2014, there has been a lot of communal tension, a lot of anger. Sometimes I feel that only one matchstick is just required here to burn the entire country. This is the level of communal hatred which is being in the minds of the people. And also one thing, I'm very thankful, and I'm very happy to see this fact that many of the youngsters of your age and my age do not resonate with this idea.
We are from the
This is
same
what.
age. While I'm bald, I'm not that aged.
No, no.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is a lot of youngsters, they do not resonate, they do not absolutely reject this idea, because we have grown up seeing India, which was completely a liberal, democratic, inclusive,
Hmm.
secular India.
Hmm.
But right now, what we are saying is open threats, open calls for genocides. This is insane.
Hmm.
This is not the India of Mahatma Gandhi and Nehru, and that is why the common youngster is not able to resonate. They want to go back. They want to live their life. Just let's get some facts right here. If the government tomorrow changes and we have a liberal, democratic party which runs the country, I can give you a guarantee. Once the social fabric is again brought back
Hmm.
to what it was
Hmm.
meant to be, again we will see
Hmm.
the Indian youth gaining confidence in the Indian setup, in the Indian universities, in the Indian social system. You will understand this. Once the Indian social
Definitely.
fabric is strengthened, we all will be a part of the developmental journey of India.
Definitely, Dipanshu. And while you mentioned about the disturbance in the social fabric of the country, is this also one of the reasons that the youth today prefers to stay political?
Two things about it. So first of all, it's about politics. Okay. So unfortunately, I'm very disturbed by this idea that whenever, it is not because of today's time, but right after independence, I can say, whenever we spoke about politics,
Hmm.
what are the pictures which come in front of us? If an ordinary family with their kid, the kid is 18, 19 years old, just passed his school or her school, and they speak
Hmm.
about politics, the child wants to do something in politics. And what is the reaction of the parents? What is the picture which comes in the mind? That politics is a dirty game. It
Hmm.
is the field of the goons. They requires a
Hmm.
lot of money. You can't go ahead because I'm not a politician. Your father is not a politician. You cannot
Hmm.
succeed. It is very difficult. You might
Hmm.
get killed. So these are the things. Okay. So in the formative years only, you're just penetrating these ideas. So even if a person wanted to become political, if a person wanted to have an opinion, because they were formed in such a way, they will say that I'm apolitical. Or
Hmm.
point number one, point number two, which is connected to the current scenario. If a person is having an opinion
Hmm.
and that opinion is against what is happening in the country right now by the government, but
Hmm.
to ensure that the person is safe, that his
Hmm.
sister is safe, that his wife is safe, his girlfriend is safe, his mother is safe, that person is forced to say that I'm apolitical because the person is afraid. And this is very disheartening. This is frightening, saddening. That the
Hmm.
country, which is the largest democracy of the world, the youngsters of that country in a democratic setup are not given a platform to speak their minds and their hearts.
No,
That is
but
the
if you see historically, during the freedom movement, the youth was at the forefront. During Indira Gandhi's tenure, also under the vision of Sanjay Gandhi, the Youth Congress was quite strong. Even during the emergency, the youth was with the JP movement. So youth historically had been at the forefront of politics, but after the liberalization phase, after, like, I can speak only after I was born, right? So I was born in 1995, and when I started getting a bit of political understanding during my later years of school, I used to see that the youth is kind of drifting towards an apolitical stand, doesn't want to speak about politics, wants to stay away from politics, and for the reasons you rightly mentioned. But as youth who stays in India, who have a vision for India, uh, do you think uh, do you think that religion is one of the issues of the youth? If not, then what are some of the other key issues that the youth stands for today?
so first of all, Monal, thank you for bringing this very important point of liberalization. So
Hmm.
after 1991, when the Indian youth had the opportunity to compare between going for an MNC job, because a lot of gates were opening up, a lot of MNCs were coming in, and
Hmm.
there was a sort of comparison which had been drawn between getting into a corporate job or going into the social sector, development sector, or the political
Hmm.
system. And
Hmm.
anyone can say that going for an MNC or going for these companies is a more lucrative job because it's quick
Hmm.
money, social status is increased in a quick manner. So that was the reason I believe this can be one of the reasons why we do not have much young population of people in politics. That is one reason. The
Hmm.
second point which you touched about is the religion, and I can also add caste to it, and then I add that whether the youngster resonate it or not. Fundamentally, I believe fundamentally the youngsters of 21st century, the people, the young blood of India, they do not resonate with this idea. They do not resonate with the idea of religion. They do not resonate with the idea of caste. I'm not saying there is no caste discrimination. There is in India still caste discrimination, which is very unfortunate, disheartening. But I believe that all the youngsters are not involved in it. Okay,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
but we got to understand after 2014 there has been a structured construction of an ecosystem which is being
Hmm.
penetrating poison in the minds of neutral people through
Hmm.
social
Hmm.
media, through debates, through discussions, through the discourse which is in the society right now. The
Right.
discourse which is setting the narrative is not the discourse about economics. It is not the discourse
Hmm.
about jobs. It is not the discourse about women empowerment, inclusiveness, diversity. No, it is not. The media
But it
channels
is
who
more
are
of a discourse about aggression. It is more of a discourse
correct,
about revenge.
correct, correct. Let
Yeah.
me put this up straight. Subtle things which some of the media is doing,
Hmm.
or subtle things which some of the influencers are doing. They're
Hmm.
penetrating poisonous stuff and the neutral people. For example, even a person is liberal person, unknowingly he or she is being exposed to such stuff, and they
Hmm.
then become something else only. They become
Hmm.
religiously very toxic, and they become casteist. Unfortunately, yes, it's been happening. I can name few YouTubers right now if you want to, if you want
Hmm.
me to do this. I can tell you they're
Hmm.
taking it. I don't want to name, but I can
I'm
tell you
aware
that
about I'm aware
yeah,
about those YouTubers, and even
yes,
I am sure the viewers will be aware about those
yes,
YouTubers
they
who
are
like kind
taking
of speak in very animated way like this and all.
animated way,
Uh,
and there has been some YouTubers, some influencers who are taking regular interview of the people who only believe in conspiracy, who
hmm.
only believe
Hmm.
in baseless allegations. I
Hmm.
mean, there was one YouTuber who took an interview of this person, and the person said that Mahatma Gandhi was a British agent. I mean, what the
Hmm.
hell is this going on in the country? And
Hmm.
this YouTuber was appreciating this fact. And there is one couple on Instagram. They started their channel on Instagram, and they are subtle agents of the RSS. I can give you facts about it. They are propagating the ideology of
Hmm.
RSS, and they are having views in millions. They are mum on the destruction of the social fabric about the secularism, and some YouTubers are quoting what this Savarkar said, and they are calling
Hmm.
Mahatma Gandhi British agent. They are
And
spreading all these lies. I mean, what is going on here? So I'm just saying that these YouTubers, these influencers are part of the ecosystem which is run by the RSS. They are being funded, and their only aim is to brainwash the youngsters, and this is not happening. We will not let this
and
happen.
and and quite to the irony, while we call this the Congress Radio 2.0, we are not funded by Congress at all. Uh,
No, no,
so
it should not
and
be. It should be a completely independent. If tomorrow Congress does something which is not acceptable to us, we in our party, there is so much democracy that in the face of our leadership, we can say that it's not right, and
I
our voice will
agree.
be
I
heard.
agree. Yeah, there is a lot of democracy in the Congress itself. So that is why they are like there are a lot of differences in the Congress party itself, but they are able to come together and position a take a uniform take one position as a party when required, and also have space for disagreements
But
when required.
yeah, just one point, Murnal, just one point I want to add. We spoke about youngsters. I'm of a firm opinion, a very firm opinion, that no matter how much brainwashing you do to us, no matter how many YouTubers you use, how many influencers you use,
Hmm.
how many debates, genocide calls you do, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, in our hearts, we are Indians, we are united, we have communal harmony. This is just a
Definitely.
time. This is just a time which will pass. As Sri Rahul Gandhi rightly said one day, that
Hmm.
Congress ideology is the default setting of Indians. We
Hmm.
will be back on the track. Our youngsters who are brainwashed, unfortunately, will be back on the track. One day, all this religious toxicity, all this hatred, all this communal disharmony will be gone, and India will again be proud in its unity in diversity and not uniformity.
That one day is not far. I can see the undercurrents around me. Like, people have been speaking about love, people have been speaking about harmony, people have been speaking about empathy. While this discourse in the public space is changing, but the tools of mass propagation, like taking your message to masses, are in the hands of the government. That is why they have kind of an upper hand. But people in India are wise. They know what is good for the country, and they are speaking about love, harmony, and all those things. But I would like to again ask you a question. Like, since you are Dipanshu, you are the youth leader, you are the spokesperson of Youth Congress. So what are the key issues, key political issues for the youth of the country today?
So the most concerning and the most pressing issue is right now about unemployment.
Hmm.
That is every youngster is talking about.
Hmm.
Because when we go on ground, when we analyze, we talk to the people, that is the first thing. The
Hmm.
second thing is about the lifestyle,
Hmm.
which many of the people are not speaking about. But the lifestyle of the ordinary Indian, the standard of the ordinary Indian, the life standard of the ordinary Indian has been reduced because of inflation, because not having enough money. And there is a
Hmm.
lot of aspirations in the eyes of the youth which they are not able to fulfill because there are no avenues left now. There
Hmm.
has been complete centralization of power.
Hmm.
The decentralization has become an abuse. Secularism has
Hmm.
become an abuse.
Hmm.
Inflation, unemployment,
Even being liberal had become an abuse a few years
of
back.
course.
Right now, we are learning to be liberal again and be
Yes,
open to calling ourselves as liberals. But
yes,
2 3 years earlier, even the word liberal itself was used as an abuse. The word secular was used as an abuse.
correct. And one more thing, Murnal. The
Hmm.
youth also want that someone should listen to them.
Hmm.
They have a lot to speak about. They have a lot of
Hmm.
anger. They have a lot of frustration.
Hmm.
Because even after you graduate from a top school, you have an
Hmm.
MBA, you took a loan and you funded your own education, and then you're not able to get a job.
Hmm.
Just talk to that person. Just talk to that youngster. Then you will understand
Hmm.
the situation right now. These are issues. And one more thing I want to just talk about, that why we are not having any youth centric policy as of now. We need
Exactly.
something. We need something. We
Hmm.
need a strong legislation which speaks for youth.
Hmm.
If the prime
Exactly.
minister can, yeah, if
And
the
don't
prime
you
minister
think
can
this
simply,
don't you think one of the reasons is also that there is not enough youth in the parliament? Like as I shared earlier also, like the average age of Indian population is somewhere between 27 to 29 years. But the average age of a parliamentarian is somewhere between 54 to 57 years. Uh, so do you think that uh, there should be some sort of a provision to involve youth in the parliament also, like some sort of a reservation for youth in the parliament or something like that?
I'm of an opinion that the reservation, particularly for youngsters in the parliament, should be first initiated by providing a reservation in the political party.
Hmm.
Okay, so that
Hmm.
is the first. Let's set a benchmark here that n
Hmm.
percentage of people from this age below can hold these posts, can get an
Hmm.
experience, can become the
Hmm.
voice of their community, of their constituency,
Hmm.
and that is what the Congress has done. Let's
Hmm.
get the facts right. After the
Hmm.
Adhivesion in Raipur, we came up with this idea.
Can you speak more about that? Most people won't know
Yeah,
about it.
yes, I can speak
Hmm.
about that. After
Hmm.
the Raipur Adhivesion and the second Adhivesion in Chhattisgarh, we came up with the idea that the people who are in the party, in the Congress party, and if they are less than 50 years of age,
Hmm.
they will be given a certain percentage in the organizational posts
Hmm.
and the ticket distribution also. Roughly about
Hmm.
40 to 50% of the ticket distribution will be given to the people who are less than 50 years of age. They will be given leadership posts, they will be accommodated in the constitutional post, and 33% reservation will be given to the women inside the Congress.
Hmm.
And
And Congress has also started
I
leadership
would,
development mission for
uh,
2029.
yeah, I'll just come to two more very important points.
Yeah.
The Congress has also categorically mentioned that one politician within the Congress cannot have two posts, one organization and one constitutional,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
increases the scope of youngsters through vacancies right now which the Congress offers. And the second
Hmm.
point, which Super Shri, Super Shri is a youth congress's national flagship program to introduce to women who want to speak, who have the right issues in their head, who want to get into politics, but they are not able to get into politics because of the current government. We are providing them the platform with the name of Super Shri. That is the efforts, that is the initiatives which the Congress party is taking. For whom? For the youth of this country. And I can give you this in guarantee the day Rahul Gandhi becomes the Prime Minister, we will have a structured policy formulation, curation, and implementation which will be directly impacting positively to the youth of this country.
Hmm. Definitely, definitely. And I would also like to know, and I'm sure our viewers would also like to know more about what the Youth Congress actually is. How can the youth get involved with Youth Congress? How can they contribute to Youth Congress? What
Yes.
benefits would they get out of Youth Congress?
Yes, so Youth Congress is one of the frontal organizations of the Indian National Congress. We
Hmm.
have NSUI also, that is National Students Union of India. If you're a student, a college student, university student, you can join NSUI. But if you are either in college or not in college, not in university, you are youngster, you can join the Youth Congress. Youth Congress is world's biggest democratic organizations of youngsters which is affiliated to the Indian National Congress. That is what Youth Congress is all about. And how one can contribute or how one can join Youth Congress, very easy. You can become a
Hmm.
member easily. You can go onto the internet, fill the form, you're the part of the team. You can work. You're a
What
volunteer
what what
today. You're a
what are
volunteer
what
today.
sort of programs does the Youth Congress have?
Yes, I'm coming to that. I'm
Hmm.
coming to that. You're a
Hmm.
volunteer today of Youth Congress. Tomorrow you'll become a leader. There are
Hmm.
numerous, Murna, there are numerous ways you can get into Youth Congress at good positions.
Hmm.
There are many competitions, there are many avenues, there are many programs. There is
Hmm.
Speak Up India, there is Super Shri, there is
Hmm.
Youth Judo, Booth Judo. There are many such avenues. I talk about myself.
Hmm.
I'm part of the
Yes,
Youth Congress.
please.
I became the spokesperson of the party after I won a competition Young India ke Bol,
Okay.
which is a competition to provide a platform to the youngsters who know about the issues, who are good at speaking, who know what is the stand of the party, and they can put forward that stand in front of public, in front of media. And there's a competition, democratic competition, pan India level
Hmm.
competition, right from scratch, right from assembly level, right from assembly level to district level, state level, and then national level.
Hmm.
So this is the
We are planning
democratic
such of a competition with AIPC also, All India Professionals Congress as well.
for spokespersons,
Uh,
for spokespersons.
yeah, for spokesperson, we are planning a
Do
debate competition. So
do invite
let's
me
see
then.
when that happens. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'll come to All India Professionals Congress also, but first let us, Dipanshu, know all
Yes,
about
yes.
Youth Congress.
Yeah, so there, as I said, there are many avenues. I came from this one
Hmm.
competition, Young India, Game, and like me, there were many people from all over India, from small marginalized villages. Because see, Rahul Gandhi was very clear from day one. He's the chairman of All India Youth Congress, and
Hmm.
right from 2004, he was very, very clear. Whenever we meet him, whenever we talk to him, he has one
Hmm.
aim very clear, that he wants youngsters who are from marginalized communities,
Hmm.
underdeveloped background, who are from the interiors of the country, who do not have political backing, who do not
Hmm.
carry any privilege of a political son or a son of a politician or anything, not belonging from any political party. They have to come inside youth congress. We have to provide them avenues so that they can contribute. They should not be left behind just because they do not have deep pockets, they do not have
Hmm.
godfathers, they do not have avenues. Rahul Gandhi is very crystal clear that we need these
Hmm.
people in our team. We need to
Hmm.
ask them, we need to welcome them. And one such idea is about Young India Ke Bol, or now Super Shri, such a wonderful
Hmm.
idea, such a wonderful event, such a wonderful campaign of welcoming
Hmm.
all the women of this country to join the Indian Youth Congress. Because again,
Hmm.
women being still, I believe, in some or the other way marginalized right now
Hmm.
under the RSS regime, they need a political voice, they need a political support. And then Youth Congress, there are elections, free elections, transparent elections. Again, an idea
Hmm.
from Rahul Gandhi ji. It's not important that you are a son of a chief minister or a Congress politician, then only you can become the president or the general secretary of the Youth Congress in the state level or the national level.
Hmm.
Come, let's fight election democratically. Let's work for the
Hmm.
people, and through elections you
Hmm.
can become president of the state unit of the Youth Congress, or you can become vice president, general secretary, secretary.
Hmm.
Such a democratic.
Hmm.
And what about the ABVP? What about
Hmm.
BJYM, Bharatiya Janata
Hmm.
Yuva Morcha? All sons of these failed politicians holding big seats in this youth organization without any election. What about Mohan Bhagwat holding the same seat for 13 years, no elections, nothing?
Hmm.
And they speak about
Hmm.
dynasty, they speak about all these things, about the most secular democratic setup, right from the NSUI to Youth Congress to the International Congress.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is what Youth Congress is all about.
Exactly. And I'm sure there is a lot of diversity also in Youth Congress. So would love to know about diversity as to what sort of backgrounds do people come from in the Youth Congress. See, as I can say about you that you are a Kashmiri Pandit, a student of development studies, a development professional and a practitioner. I'm sure there would be people pursuing UPSC, people pursuing defense services examination, people with simple BCom, people working on a regular 9 to 5 job. So can you share more about the diversity in the Youth Congress?
So as I said, Sri Rahul Gandhi ji is particular about
Hmm.
diversity. Okay. So whenever we formulate a program, be it Youth Judo, Booth Judo, be it Young India Ke Bol, be it Super Shri, you know what the basic idea we have is that we need to go down into society. We need to penetrate in those areas where even media is not able to reach, where the internet
Hmm.
is not able to reach, where water is not able to reach. But Youth Congress wants to reach there. We want to
Hmm.
talk to the youngsters of that place who are disadvantaged, who are deprived, who are marginalized, but who have a voice and want to speak, want to take responsibility. The person who is sitting at the back, we want that person to come in the front and speak to us, talk to us, get in the team. It's completely diverse setup. Completely diverse setup. If I talk about myself, I'm a Kashmiri Pandit. I got migrated, my family got migrated in 1990 because of terrorism in Kashmir. With no political lineage, with no political background, with no deep
Hmm.
pockets, nothing. and I come from a community which is electorally fractured, and still, it is all because of the vision of the Youth Congress, Sri Rahul Gandhi ji, which provided us, like a person like me, an opportunity to become the spokesperson of the Congress. And today I go on national debates, I go on state debates, I help the party in framing the right narrative. This is what the Congress is all about: complete inclusiveness, completely supporting the diversity.
Sure, sure. So, viewers, if you are passionate about politics, or if you are starting to develop an interest in politics, or if you are thinking about politics in some way, Youth Congress is a great platform to be a part of. And there is a lot of diversity, as I said, in the Congress, within the Congress itself. As Dipanshu comes from Youth Congress, I come from a platform called All India Professionals Congress, which is a platform for working professionals. And there are professionals from various domains. So even that's an avenue if you are considering to be a part of politics. So that was Dipanshu, a spokesperson of the Youth Congress, a youth leader, a development professional. Thank you, Dipanshu, for joining us today, enlightening our viewers. And I'm sure, well, I won't be sure, but I really hope to host you in the future as well. And viewers, let me know in the comments if you are planning to join Youth Congress or All India Professionals Congress, and make and preserve the idea of a secular socialist democratic republic of India. We are in the run up to 2024 elections, and on this platform, Jann Ki Baat will be speaking to people from various spheres of life. Will be speaking to entrepreneurs, youth, working professionals, artists, etc., etc. On this platform, and listen to Jann Ki Baat, because the Prime Minister is only doing Man Ki Baat. So hit that like button, click the bell icon, press the subscribe button, share this episode with your friends, family, and colleagues, and let's make an inclusive and developmental India. Thank you guys for watching the Congress Radio 2.0. I am your host, Mrunal Mathuria, signing off.